wonderful flossy friends. Welcome to my channel, Chinook Crafter. My name is Michelle. My pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel where I talk about cross stitch and other things. Today is going to be all about cross stitch though, because this is episode 15. It is January 13th, which means it's 2 days after my 1 year Flossiversary, if you will. I stuck to something for a year. That is actually incredible. For a whole year, who would have thought? Me. Right, so 1 year Flossiversary, and I thought I would have some fun and do a WIP parade just to kind of see what has changed throughout the year that I've been really active on Flosstube and also just really active on like the the cross stitch community on Instagram, which has been so many positive things. Like I am so glad that a year ago I took the leap and made a YouTube channel, made a little cross stitch Instagram, because it has been so wonderful, so welcoming, and just like I'm emotional about it. It's been a year, and not only that, it's been a year because when I filmed this, also I'm gonna say I'm wearing the same sweater because it felt appropriate to go back, and also because most of Canada and I think a lot of the states are in a polar vortex right now. Today it's a balmy, I think -27. Let me just double check that. -26 at the moment, Celsius. I know yesterday we hit -50 with the wind chill, and this is all Celsius for you Americans. That is -58 Fahrenheit, because I looked it up. The only thing I know about Celsius and Fahrenheit is that -40 is where they are the same, and we went below that. So I mean, like, we're fine, we're staying indoors, you know, not this extreme, but like we do get cold snaps like this, so it's like, you know, you get through it, but whew, it's been cold, so it's nice to wear a sweater. And I'd like to say I've been cross-stitching, but as you know, if you've been with me this whole year, is I have a toddler and no longer a newborn. I have almost a 1-year-old. I almost have 2 toddlers. Like, I just keep thinking this. I watched my first video in kind of preparation for this. I had to get past, like, I was watching like this going like, oh my god, like, why are you like that? Like, why are you like that, right? Right, with as is, but then I was like, oh my gosh, like looking at it, I was like 9 months pregnant, and like, what was I thinking starting a Flosstube 9 months pregnant? I was not thinking, but hey, I've made it. 15 episodes over 52 weeks isn't not the most consistent, but it's not, you know, that's more than 1 video a month, so I'm giving myself that. So I don't have a lot of data on my cross stitch projects. That's not something I typically track. My brain doesn't work that way. If you're new here, I've mentioned this before, but I am very ADHD chaotic, and I don't mean to be that way. It's just I chase shinies. Things don't stick in my brain the way they should, and so it's hard. I'm hoping that this year, you know, 2024 is going to be better, because Nati, and I'll link it. I've been linking this before in my description box. She has the STITCHERY, and it's just been a really wonderful template. Because it's on my phone, it's really easy for me to do, and like it's become a habit, and it's helping me keep somewhat organized. Like, I'm not organized in that, like, my stuff is still everywhere because I don't have enough project bags, which I'm working on. I you know, it's a whole thing. Like, you know, you have to do one thing to fix the other problem, but then to fix that problem, you have to do this. You know, it's a bunch of side quests for organization, right? But I've just found her template to be so helpful because I have shopping lists. I know what I have. And I'm starting to know when I start and finish things, because I never thought to keep track of that before. Like, I knew some people did, but I was like, I'll finish it when I finish it. And it is, you know, how that goes. Actually, I'm going to pull it up right now because, let's see, according to this, I should have had this loaded up. I know I have 40 or 41 WIPs, and I just want to double check that so I don't spread false information on my hideous pile of works in progress. Okay. So, boop, boop, boop. Let's go to the... And, like, this is just active WIPs, too, by the way. Like, this is not stuff I've kitted up, because I have a lot more kitted up or purchased that I just haven't started. And I'm not even fully done inputting all my patterns into, like, what I have possibly do. Alright, so I've got 41 active works in progress. And for me, that's anything I have put a stitch in, or has been started. I'm not going to do any fancy data with like how far along I'm with it, because a good chunk of them are paper patterns, and that's annoying. I will say discovering Pattern Keeper this year was a real big help, and I definitely felt my speed improve and like less frogging as I've discovered Pattern Keeper, so that was another benefit of 2023, is finding out there's programs that help. And I know I was having some conversations with other people who were like, I don't see the point of pattern keeper. I can just count paper. But for me, it's so good because I can, like, you know, zoom in because I have really bad eyes. I can see, you know, where the color path is. Like, it just really helps my brain process information. So I'm a big fan of pattern keeper, and it is actually now a selling point to me if, you know, patterns are pattern keeper compatible. Okay, so we're going to start with the WIPs. I'm going to do, I have two piles. One I have cover photos for, and one I'm going to have to edit cover photos in. And that pile is scaring me because it's bigger than the other one. I don't print out a fancy cover photo to have a cover photo. It's just, I mean, realistically, that's only going to be like 20, 30 extra pieces of paper, but I like to try and cut back where I can. And now I'm realizing I'm going to have to maybe edit all those in, and I'm not looking forward to editing all those in. I wish I was a little bit faster at that, but I'm not. So we're going to start with the ones that do have cover photos. And like I said, these are in no particular order. There's kind of as I pulled them out of my baskets. So this was the project I started with STITCHERY for our Spoopy Kitten Sal. And I haven't confirmed it, but I feel like I'm going to do this again next year. Like, I think kittens should be all year round. So it's from the really vintage book, Calico Kittens, for all seasons. And I really want to actually stitch most of the kittens in this book. Like, there's a couple I don't want to stitch, but like the Christmas ones are so cute, and the Halloween ones are cute. And then just kind of go from there. So, I'm stitching this little cutie pie right up there. And I did this on hand-dyed fabric myself. And I've got the face and a bit of like the collared bib. It's not showing up too well because it blends into the fabric. I know once I have like the darker orange fur and like everything in the 90s backstitch, it's going to pop a lot more. Like I said, following on a paper pattern was not my forte, and these are surprisingly complex. Like, so it's 88 by 91 stitches, which isn't huge, but there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's about 30 colors. And 30 colors, and a lot of that's just like the very subtle shading, which, not my favorite. Like, I love the effect, not my favorite to do. So that is WIP number 1. This one has shown up recently. This is from the 2006 Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament Edition. It is this cute little Santa with a dragon right down there from a design. They still have a website and they have an Instagram for their, but I don't think they're active. And I've got most of his face and beard done. So I have like his fuzzy collar, his gloves, and the dragon left to do. Kind of bummed out about this one. I'm not going to show it by the time, but I recently just got like a fairly decent haul of Kreinik and beads from a lady that was retiring from stitching. And she has so many beautiful mirrors on her wall, like a little house, and it was just like, I had a tour of her house. I mean, don't go into strangers' houses unless they're giving you beads and Kreinik and they want to show off all the memorabilia to you. I mean, don't go into strangers' houses like I did, but I did. Right? And I was really excited because I saw from like the Facebook Marketplace photos, I was pretty sure I was going to have the 2 specialty flosses I was missing. I have ones I could probably sub in, which I'll probably do, but it was just like, I was like, oh, I got Whisper, not fuzzy stuff, and I need, I think, number 4 pearl, like number 4 braid pearl, and I got number 8 in the blended development, and it's like, one of those will work. It's just like a little eggshell. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. This one I know I started at the beginning of the year, and I didn't get very far because it annoyed me. And this is Frederic the Literate. It's a cat on a bookshelf, and I love it. Like, this is very much the vibe for me. Cats and books. It's, you know, and there's even like a little owl, and there's like punny titles. And I've done a book and a bit of shelf. No excuses. The only reason I didn't get further was there is a lot of blended threads here, and I have to go and like change the system they give it to you on, because this is because like this is not it for me keeping track of blends. And I know there's better systems. I know I can do it. It's just, to do it means I have to take time away from stitching, and I'm not about doing that. That's how I'm going to have to do that. I think what I'm going to do is outsource this to my mom and my sister, because my sister is coming up for a little visit for my daughter's first birthday. And so I can potentially make them do my work for me. No. What is that? This here is Orca Bay by Pigeon Coop Designs. It's a very beautiful geometric piece, and I am working hard on finishing it. So I think the last time I did this, I showed this, I hadn't even started this in January last year. Then I did start it, and I just did like a little bit of this. So that's a good chunk done. My goal is to have this done by the end of April, because I have promised to pass this on to somebody else. And I would like to have it done by Stitch North. So I'm not seeing this person at Stitch North because they're the weekend before me, but I am seeing a lot of people that see this person regularly, and I'm going to ask one of them to take it back in their luggage and give it to her at one of their little Acorns gatherings, because they get to go to Acorns all the time. I just haven't asked any of them yet because it's January and I have till April, and worst comes to worst, I'll mail it. It just seems nice to pass it along that way, because it's easy for me, and I'm that person. This is also from Pigeon Coop Designs. I'd rather be camping. And there's that. I will be done this one soon. It's, if you've seen one of my previous ones, I have a set of 3 from this kind of series they did. And, I mean, this was my vibe back in 2019 when I bought them. Maybe, yeah, 2019 I think is when I bought them. And because that was, I didn't know about Etsy, I didn't really, there wasn't really this community that I was aware of, and I like them. They're not my favorite now, but they're very simple, so I kind of want to get them done, and like I mentioned this, I want to hang them in the basement, because that's where we store our hiking stuff, that's where we store our camping stuff, so I thought, like, that could be kind of cute. And for the amount of effort that they are, it's like, might as well get them done. I'm trying to make sure I leave one of them in the car, because then I can just kind of pick at them as they go. My last one. This is my Teresa Wentzler, the storyteller. This was beautifully and graciously gifted to me by Pam, who has her own little Flosstube channel, and she works a lot on Mirabilias, and she is just the kindest person I've met, and so wonderfully kind and helpful. And so yeah, this is very complex. So I knew this one was going to be a complex bad boy, right? And this is my New Year, New Start. I had a bit of a hiccup starting it because I had a piece of fabric set aside for it, and then the day I wanted to start it, I couldn't find it. Well, I found what I thought was it, but it was small, and it turns out I had 2 cuts of the same, like, Zweigart Irish tea linen, right? So I found another piece of fabric, but then my daughter got peanut butter on it, so then I had to wash it, and I had to wash it twice, and then, yes. Oh, and on that note too, since I last had a Flosstube, I bought a floor stand, the Mark II from Evertotes. I didn't buy it from them. I bought it secondhand off of Retired Stitcher. I think I did mention this last one, but I've got it all set up and I'm using it. It's a learning curve. I do like it. Some of the little bits are on my baby. Like, I say baby, she's like a year-old. It's literally her eye level, and so I'm trying to stitch, and I'm like, but we're working on it. It's a learning curve for everyone. The only issue I have with them is the scroll frames are the based type, so I have to commit. So I committed to the Teresa Wentzler, and this is probably about 5 hours worth of work, and I'm not even done one of those lozenges. But just a little bit of ways to go, hey? But that's okay. It's about the journey. I definitely am a process stitcher. I love the intricacy of Teresa Wentzler, and I'm going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this one. It's just like, oh boy, that is a long journey I'm having. But it's okay. You're all coming on that journey with me, and you will ooh and ah about the slight differences until all of a sudden it's at the end, and then we'll sing my praises that I managed to make it. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I was thinking a year, but I'm now bumping it up to 18 months to 2 years, depending on how fast I get the other stuff stitched. So that is, unfortunately, all the stitching I have with handy-dandy cover photos. Everything else, I'm going to have to try and find cover photos. A lot of these are magazine patterns, too, and I don't have a convenient way of getting screenshots of them, because I stitch them from Libby, so I don't want to, you know, the quality of that. So some of these we might just have to go with as is. So there's no particular order again. It's just as it is. And a lot of these you'll see like loose dangling threads because I like to work a color, and then if I get interrupted I kind of just leave it hanging until I can get back to it. So the first one is, I believe it's called No Body Is Home, and it's by Stitch Sprout, and it was in the Halloween Just Cross Stitch magazine. The sun is washing the fabric out. Let's see if I can. It's a little bit more neon green than this is showing. Could I? Let's see if I. Okay, take my word, it's more green than it looks. And yeah, so this is the progress I've made, and I'd say it's maybe 30% done. And it was finished so cute on like a little plaque, and then I've got the plaque painted black, so I should probably finish this up and get it done. And I will say that about every single project, that I should probably just finish this up and get it done. And then the problem for me is I just stitch and I get to about like 30 to 40%, and then I lose steam, I lose motivation, there's a new shiny, and then I'm done. I saw in December that if I really focus on projects, I can get them done, so I'm going to try and take that into this year. This one is Hello Kitty Surprise by the Witchy Stitcher. It was in Just Cross Stitch Halloween one, and as you can see, I've got the outline of the box and was working on the inside. And I'm really mad at myself because so it has like the little cat head Jack in the Box on the top here. And I'm really mad because I saw an amazing finish on the Witchy Stitcher group where somebody had done that, and they separated this with like a little spring, so it was like and I was mad because I'd already done this, and I'm like, do I unpick to copy that idea? Because it was really freaking brilliant. Like, but then I don't have the fabric margins because I wasn't planning on cutting it into 2 pieces. And it was brilliant, and so brilliant, and I am forever mad at myself that I cannot copy that shamelessly. Yeah, I love a creative finish like that. It was so creative. This is the Cabinet of Morbid Curiosities Stitch Along. This was by the Stitch Crypt. And actually, this is one of the nicer lightings for this fabric that I've seen, because it usually comes off really dark or washed out. Oh, and this is a coffee dyed fabric by me. This is a picture of this plus. I want to say it's haunted or gothic. I have it all written down. I just don't want to be checking my phone for all these things. So I was doing somewhat good on the frame, and then I fell behind on the releases, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just do this on my own pace. This picture of this plus is a denser, like, I think this is 28 count, but it feels a lot denser and it's dark, so it's hard for me to go. And then I got a little upset because the final release was of a fetal skeleton, and I lost all motivation to work on that for a while because I can't. I've spoken about before, but I've had a miscarriage, and I couldn't stitch that. I get the morbid curiosities, and so I couldn't. But this Jen had released also a bonus, like a little small bonus one, so I was kind of thinking if I could chop it up to fit in the long shelf. However, somebody else reached out to Jen with the same situation I had, and that, you know, I can't stitch this. This is very upsetting for me personally. And so Jen released a whole spinal column, so I was like, okay, I don't have to try and Frankenstein and shrink something and make it fit. So I'm ready to get back into that one. It's just I had a little sad moment because, you know, we spent time and effort on something like that, and then you're like, oh, yeah. Moving on. So It's Time for Halloween by Witch's Garden Crafts. This is also on a picture of this plus. I want to say it's Whimsy. I got the fabric and this pattern before I was doing Flosstube or Instagram, so I kind of didn't keep track of it, but I know it's picture of this plus. And it's another one that I just started working on and lost motivation and steam on, because that is the trend. But now that I have Pattern Keeper, this one's been going a little bit faster. Like, most of my progress on it, this has been this year Halloween, because I got, like I said, Pattern Keeper, so it's so much easier to keep track of all this. So I've been working on that. My kind of goal is to have all my Halloween WIPs finished for Halloween, to display them, and then start all the new Halloween WIPs I want to do. Because I love Halloween. I love the Halloween aesthetic. This is my Stitch for Stage one. It's the Ornate Floral Sword. This one's been in timeout multiple times. So first off, my kitty cat put a little hole in the black Ada down here. It's not overly noticeable. I think it'll be fine. Like, it's not like, you know, rip. It's just like a little fuzzy, like some claws catching. So that's okay, but made me upset. And then I had a dye lot issue with the 3799 around the border, so. And I know some people were like, oh, just leave it, but I'm gonna pick it out. I just haven't felt like picking it out, so that's kind of where I got with it, because instead of picking it out, I was working on the hilt and things. So it's like, well, maybe if I do this, I'll get less mad about it, and I'll finish it. And I didn't. I just got annoyed every time I looked at it. And it's a shame, because I do like the pattern, I do like this. It's just like knowing I have to frog and restitch. It's just like, this is some hand-dyed scrap fabric by me. It's super exciting. There was a free pattern for like these 6 little spirits of Halloween, and I started to work on them. And so I've only done a portion of the one at the moment. It had a lot more fractional stitches than I anticipated, so that's on me for looking at the pattern. It's just I'm doing this on Ada. And so I was getting annoyed at myself because I made a stupid choice, and I'm committed to it because I do like the color. It came out kind of like Barnwood, if I picture this plus. It's a very nice purpley gray, so I like it. It fits the scrap perfectly. It will work perfectly for my vision. It's just, I made a boo-boo with my choices, and I was mad about it. My next 3 are going to be from Owl Forest Embroidery. This is the Pumpkin Colored Autumn by Owl Forest Embroidery, like I said. And it's one of their freebies, and I'm doing it on I think it's called Sun Shower by Perman, and I'm doing a custom over-dyed conversion that one of my local needle workshops helped me create, and it's good. I was just feeling grumpy about it because I was having some doubts about the whitish color showing up, and now I think it does actually work. And this is a little bit, it's a little crunchy, but I've committed. And it is softening up. It's not as bad as it used to be, so I'm sticking through it, but it's not this is a very tactile craft for me. And so when it's crunchy or stiff, it's just like, I can't do it. And so that was it. I can't do it. This is my 100 Owls piece. I'm doing a custom floss conversion from Roxy Floss Co. And it's cute. I'm stitching it over 1 over 1 on 20 count. So it's tiny for me. It's cute. So I'm enjoying it. It's just, you know, it's tiny. And I'm thinking I might use this for Julie's motif a week stitch along. I have a couple other options. So, and this one's a little bit fussy because I have my Roxy Floss codes. I have to have like my little conversion list. So there's some easier ones I could work with that. Okay. And the last one is my Treasure Island stitch along, where I got this far. This is definitely one I'm going to be picking up a lot this year. It's just, this is on Vintage Country Mocha. Yeah, that one, it's fine. It's just I don't like working off paper charts, and that's basically what it's coming down to, is I don't like paper charts. This is the Halloween Crystal Ball by Tiny Modernist. I bought this when the stitch along was active. It's on, I think, Crystal Mirage by Picture This Plus, and I've got, this is why I want all my Halloween WIPs done by Halloween, because that's a little much. This is my Wizard's Inventory stitch along by Sewing Starfish. As you can see, I haven't done anything but most of the Wizard. I'm actually at 10% on this project. I remember it because it was a nice round number. This is just some custom fabric I dyed myself, so I like the vibe of it. And this is also one I'm thinking could be the motif a week, but I'd have to finish the Wizard first because everything's like counted off of him. Which is why I fell behind, because everything's counted off the Wizard, and I'm not done the Wizard, and so like, But that is how it goes. This one you can't actually buy anymore. This one makes me kind of, so this is one of my first cross stitches, and it is the Chronicles of Narnia stitch along by the Stitching Book Club. And I just works on the border. And this one, I'm thinking I need to unpick it and make the border slightly bigger. I don't know. I think I gave myself a 2-inch border, but I think I might need like a little bit extra for finishing purposes. Maybe not. I don't know. I have to think about that, and that is why it's stuck. I haven't really picked it up. Plus, I have issues with exclusive patterns. Like, I get the whole point, and I don't mind exclusive for a year because it's in a publication or it's, you know, whatever. It's just when things are artificially put out of print, or like this one, she had a limited contract with the estate, so that makes sense. I get it. She did it properly. She didn't make a fan. She didn't do it as a fan art. She went through the right channels, and they said you can sell this many, and she sold that many, right? I don't like showing it because it's like, well, here's this thing, and you can't have it, right? Like, I don't like that, and I think it's partially because there's so many older Dimensions and Jamlin kits I want, and it wouldn't hurt them to make it as a PDF, and like, it wouldn't hurt them, please, give me my wizards. So, like, I just, you know, like, this is, like, way less extreme of a case, right? But I don't like showing things that people can't have. I really don't, because, like, God, I saw this beautiful, beautiful Mirabilia the other day. It was, Romeo and Juliet, I think? Or The Kiss. And something like that. And I didn't even know it existed because it's out of print, so it just doesn't show up. And I saw it, I was like, holy crap, I want that. But I ain't spending that money. And it's the same thing for the Teresa Wenslers. I love them. I want them. I appreciate them. But and Teresa Wensler, I understand the religious, you know, beliefs that made her change her mind. And that is completely her right. And it's one of those things where you have to respect the person, but it's also like, but why? Why? So that's my rambling thoughts on that. So, moving on. This is my natural rolled stitch along. I'm at just around 55%. Yeah. It is a 27 or 28 count random piece of even weave and pine palette by Sulky. It is coming along. It's just one of those ones I definitely need to just, like, I get so much progress on it when I stitch it. It's just, it's long ended, so I kind of lost my motivation and steam for doing it. Pattern Keeper was a really big assistant on this one, especially for the borders. Another Tiny Modernist stitch along. This one ends next month, I think, and it's the Make Today Magical. I didn't get very far. This was the very first motif. This is a 25 count Pacific Metallic Blue by Zweigart, and I was originally going to stitch this over 2 count, but then I decided to do over 1 count, and I like the over 1, over 2, but now I'm doing it over 1. So I like that. It's just I'm having some thread slipping in, you know, my eyeballs. This is actually a very good candidate to go onto the frame, to be basted onto the scroll frame to be worked on. So I got 4 sets of scroll rods, but like they're different sizes, and so I have to like figure out which ones because it's a commitment. Like the Teresa Wensler, that was an easy one because I know I'm not going to be putting that into a cute snap and like taking, you know, that stays like that. But there's some I like to, you know, if I go and stay with my parents, I like to bring them with me. So it's like, I don't know about that one. This one, I'm going to say this, I'm not going to be editing in like a photo of what it looks like. This was a failed test stitch, so there's not, you know, it'll be what it is when it's finished. And this is my first foray into full coverage, and I've got 4,000 stitches of 310 to go. But I'm starting to get to some colors, like color completions on it. And I've got like 2.5 pages done. So, yeah. Oh, this is Death to the Dictator by Crafty Yams. And this is a Craftivist piece I started for the human rights situation I ran. I need to pick this back up. I'm about 35% done it. Got, you know, most of that. And I could potentially get more done. There's just some confetti stitching in like the greens and yellows and and now that I have Pattern Keeper, this one became a lot easier because trying to track on paper, and, you know, page breaks, so much easier with Pattern Keeper. Like, oh god, why was I stitching without Pattern Keeper? This is the Heart Sampler. This one's going to get a little more focused next month because, you know, Valentine's. I restarted it because I was doing it on a horrible pink Ada before. And this is like a very light blush by Atomic Ranch. And you can't really see it, but what I'm doing is I'm using this is like my little bag that I just brought to show it. I'm doing a bag of overdyes with it. I want this to be a true sampler and just have like samples of all these different flosses with it. And so that's been fun. I'm liking it because I sometimes struggle replacing colors in a project, but this one's easy because I'm just kind of picking bits and pieces and just using a floss for this section and then moving on. I am wanting to mix some blues and purples and like some brownish reds, oranges, rusts into it, so that one's going to be a little more trickier for me, but right now I'm in a very solid red-pink section where I'm safe. This is La Lune and Le Chat Noir. This is by Curio Cabinet Crafts. This one I'm almost done. I have to finish the moon and do some backstitching. Yes, I say that because like this is one of the things where I get to the stage, I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. Oh, and this is opalescent hand dyed by me. This is my first experiment in dyeing. I used ice dyeing. It was fun. You know, once the Chinook hits us, I will maybe try to do some more. This is an Easter Peter Rabbit. It was in a World of Cross Stitching magazine 2022. And I'm probably about halfway done. There's a lot of white on white stitching and fractional stitches. I started this probably a couple weeks before Easter of this last year. They have a whole series of them, and I was thinking it'd be cute to have seasonal ones for my kids' rooms. Yeah, because it's Easter. I'm not religious, but I think the best way to say is we're culturally religious. Like my dad is from Quebec, so he did kind of grow up nominally Roman Catholic, because that is, Quebec law thing, right? But he stopped going to church as soon as he was allowed to, and so he stopped going to church. So never been to a church or a mass. That's why I went to a wedding mass for a friend's wedding. That was so, but I've never been into a church service like that. And then my mom, her parents weren't religious, so she kind of dabbled a little bit. 'Cause she was in a small town, and right? So, but like we celebrate Easter because it's a family meal, chocolate, and an egg hunt. And it's hard to say that it's completely sanitized of its religious origins because it's such a religious holiday to begin with. Like, it is steeped in that, but it was the very bare minimum touch of it. Like, so I'm struggling with deciding how to do Easter for my kids or not, because to me, I'm like, it's religious. We're not religious. But chocolate bunnies, egg hunts, a family meal. And like that's the takeaways I have for it. And so I'm leaning towards yes, because it's around us, and it's fun, and it's a celebration of spring, and just to, kind of leave off everything else. It's not a good solution, like I said, right? It's those things you struggle as a parent, or when you become an adult and you start thinking about why you do things that you do, right? And it's like, I don't struggle nearly as much as Christmas because it's just so much more commercialized in a way than Easter is, even though Easter really is. Yeah, I feel like this is just complete rambling on things that don't, fully mesh and don't even matter, right? Because but yeah, so there was that. This is my Love Bug sampler. It is near to being done. This is by Spartan Lupine, and then this was just done on a little rose pink Ada, probably Zygarde. They just said rose. And yeah, I'm nearly done. This is my first stitch along. I started February 1st of 2023. I know that one because that was a start. Nothing special. I kind of want to redo it on like a different color fabric because I think this is one of those things that I can see where my style has changed the most. Like, I like the tone on tone. Like, I like that I did it on a pink like this. I just wish I had done it, first off, gave myself a bigger border margin. That's the one thing. And I kind of wish I had done it on a slightly different color. And, because now she has her Mushy Love and her new the Luna Moth one. And so I kind of could see them as a beautiful set. And so I kind of wish I made better choices for fabric. But how was I supposed to know that we would have greatness every single year? These two, so this is Egyptian Scarab by Lot Designs, kind of on an off-white, slightly yellow Ada. I pick and plunk at this as I go. There's not much to say about that. You know, that. And this is, I think she calls it Starbears. And so it's based on the constellation of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, and it's a parental bear and a baby bear. And I am stitching this as a commemoration piece for myself. And I have kind of set myself a goal of having it finished by the end of March, just because that is one of the important. And it is one of the dates that have a significance for me in my journey towards parenthood. And so it would be nice to have that done by then as a... I don't even know what the words is, you know, stitching my feelings. It'd be nice to have it done by that date. That's that. Yeah. You know, a little bit of that. This is Got the Morgs by Modern Folk Embroidery, and I'm doing it on a piece of hand-dyed Ada, and I am doing it as a ombre color that I've made up myself. Yes. Try and show off the best way. Yeah. This one, it goes a little bit slow because I have to kind of chart out where the transition is, because I do the transition as a blend of the two threads. And so yeah. So yeah. I feel like in Flosstube I just start to really noticing like my quirks of speech and like habitual turns of phrases and such. And it's because like I'm talking to a computer by myself for, I mean, at this point I'm at 38 minutes, and you know, I'm having a one-sided conversation where I know people are going to comment or like message me and be like, hey, blah blah blah, right? And so it's like, okay, you know, gotta have, you know, talking points, right? And, you know, talk about my feelings about these things, talk about all this, right? But then you're like, oh, well, okay, there's only so much you can say. It's like, I did this halfway and then moved on to a new project. There's only so many ways to say that. And I am running out of ways to say that, so you get, so yeah. Now on that note too, I'm always curious, because I watch a fair bit of Canadians and a fair bit of American Flosstubers, but I do kind of tune out when the accent's too strong for me, so then I wonder what other people think of my accent. This is Dark Queen of the Earth Stitch Along. I got super far. I started on my birthday, May 16th. I didn't get too far because our window exploded that day, which sounds more dramatic than it was. It's fine. Just our window springs gave out, and so it popped open dramatically and shattered. Some plastic bits shattered. So I was meant to have a full stitchy day, and instead we had a window catastrophe. And this is on Under the Sea fabric, gilded for it. I don't think I'm going to have it done by my birthday, which would be nice. I am still going to start something new for my birthday, because my birthday. But I would like to be further along. So this is another one that I might put on the scroll frame. I just have to, like I said, figure out my scroll frame sizes, because I used the two biggest ones, and now I have two smaller ones. I was thinking about putting the Halloween crystal ball on it, but it was actually too big for the one I had left, and I was like, how are you too big? You're small. Yeah. So this is Starry Moth by the Blue Flower Stitching, and it was in a recent Just Cross Stitch magazine. And this is a hand-dyed fabric by me, and just going on with it. It's really, really fun. Like, so I've got most of the one wing done. I have to do the other wing, and then the border and the quote. So nearly done. Nearly done. I know a couple people doing the stitch along are stitching it tiny to be made into necklaces, which I think is so cute. Super cute idea, right? I could totally just leave off the border and have like a statement necklace, right? That's totally a size necklace, right? Yeah. I think that's such a cute idea because it is a cute little moth. But then I really like the quote, so I'm like, no, I'm doing the quote. This is my Greenhouse of Oddities stitch along. And it's on a Valor by Picture This Plus, which is weird because I feel like it's a gray green, but it keeps being described as like greenish, but mine is fairly gray. I also did a little conversion for the scientist lady, made her dress like less gray, just have some more color. And I was moving right along on this, and I had to frog, and so I got annoyed, and it got put into timeout. This is a piece that I'll try and focus on, because I'm nearly done quite a good chunk of it. I think I'm at like 58%, so, yeah. This is my Mama Witch cross stitch, it's like a Baba Yaga's hut. And I started it for Octobaba. And yeah. It's a very sad start. I'll get to it and we'll get done. I got distracted by other things. Okay. This is a piece I need to finish. It is Wakanda Forever by Park Hopper Bart. And this was supposed to be for my partner's first Father's Day. And this year will be his third. That's like, I was pregnant. It's fine. I gave him a second kid. That's fine. He doesn't need it. No, I'm about halfway done. And I've been debating whether or not I can have to stitch the black in on it. This is Moon at Night by Bog Dragon Crafts, and it will be a very pastel Sailor Moon piece. I'm just stuck in block stitching. Like, it's very beautiful colors, but it's very much block stitching. Like, there's a moon here, and then this is just gonna be green, 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 green. Like this pistachio mint green. I've got maybe 100 more stitches of this blue that's like a tree. So it's very interesting because I'm also just past 10% on that. It's a very easy stitch. It's very, watching TV repetitive. So that's good, but it's also like 3,000 stitches of this color, 1,000 stitches of this color, and like they're not spread out over the whole piece. They're concentrated. So I mean, if you like color completion, this is a really great project for that. But then I like to mix things up, so I'm getting a little burnt out. This is Arctic Friends by Flossy Fox Shop. I've been working on it this week because we're in a polar vortex, so I thought it would be fun to see if I could try and finish it before the weather improved. Then I had to go get some floss, and apparently the Michaels, their door was broken, so the manager had to manually open and close the door to let people in and out. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, why not close the store? The employees that get there do some inventory. Just do pickable orders only. Like, if your door isn't working in -50, capitalism. But yeah, I'm done the one shade of blue, and I'm like half done the pink, and it was. So yeah, that's that one. Just its basic navy Zweigart. This is another Arctic. It's a snowy owl. They're one of my favorites. It is almost done. I just have, like some chest and some legs to do. And it was in a cross-stitch nature magazine through Libby. I like owls. I will stitch an owl all the time. This looks like nothing. This is going to be this is going to be a gift for someone. They don't watch my channel. I can guarantee they don't watch my channel, so I feel free showing this. But I'm not going to talk any more about it other than it's a gift. And it's going to be a little... Well, you'll see what it is. I'll take a picture before I send it. And it's also on a hand-dyed fabric by me. And I need to get that one done sooner rather than later, so I might take precedence over finishing stuff before polar vortex leaves. This is my Namari tapestry by Modern Folk Embroidery. It is on Sterling by Picture This Plus, and I'm using, it's Mystical or Mythical by Threadworks as the floss. And so I'm just stitching that 1/1, because it's like an 18 count. And I am working on it. I got stuck because I told myself I had to finish the horse before I could move on to this stuff. And this horse was a chunky horse, and it took forever to do. And so that slowed me down because I was like stubborn. So you have to finish the horse, because if you don't finish the horse, you're not going to finish the horse. And I was begrudgingly finishing the horse. And my last one is the other project I have on my scroll frames. I also need a better way to store these. And this is my Tamara Pierce stitch along. This is 18 count. And you can see how far I've gotten. And I committed to it because I thought I could potentially get further. I think I'm like 1% on it. I've got like 400 stitches in it, and it's like 36,000 stitches. So that is all my starts for now. I've got some other starts. I'm just kind of waiting on bits and bobs. I am doing 2 ink circles round robins. One of them, I have everything. I'm just waiting for my floss, but she hasn't been opening her shop because, well, first she was sick, so, you know, fair enough. Like, I was supposed to pick up at the beginning of January, she was sick, so, you know, fair enough. You know, it's a one-person stitch shop. That's totally fine. I'm not in a rush. Like, I can get my quarter done. And now with the polar vortex, she's working from home basically, because no one is in small town Alberta is going shopping at the stitch shop when it's negative 50. It's not an essential trip. So hopefully I'll get that sooner rather than later, so I can start. And then the other one, I was waiting for the pattern from my other local needlework shop, and they're like, "We're not going to get it till March." So I was like, "Fine, I'm going to do something else." So I'm doing something else with it. So, you know, recalculating at the last moment is always a real fun. You know, I love that for me. And then I have my Modern Folk embroidery, No Time Like the Present. I placed the order for floss because I want to make sure I same dye lot, so I'm waiting on that. But I got my fabric for it, and it's just a basic Zweigart color because I want the floss to be the showpiece for it, like the interchange colors. I have signed up to do the Sassy and Snarky and Sassy, or Sassy and Snarky swaps. I've just checked in on that and my plans for that. I don't think that person watches my channel either, but I've got plans. It's a little struggle. And I also signed up to do a spring ornament exchange. I have some ideas, but I'm just kind of waiting to be assigned to the person just to, you know, make sure I'm going the right way with it. You know, because in case they say something, I can make it personalized. Or, like, it's somebody I know, and then I can personalize it to them. Yeah, so that's what's going on for me. That is all my WIPs, all 41 of them. A couple of them I'm going to knock out sooner rather than later. My goal for this year is to work on my big projects that I love and to kind of try and shove some of these smaller ones off. Like, 41 WIPs is fine. Like, it's not like, I'm not upset or, you know, it's just doing something like this and, like, there's so many of them. It's like, it feels a little excessive. And I'm realizing I've misplaced one of my WIPs and I don't know where it is, which is kind of concerning. I also have started, and potentially I'll just put a picture up there when I find it, because I don't know where it is. Is one of the CC Cuties by Bendy Stitchy Designs, and it's a Chupacabra. And it's a hand-dyed piece of fabric by me, and I'm hoping that I found it so I can have a picture here. And I'm using Sulky and DMC variegated for it all. And it is one of my WIP Go calls, which is one thing I'm doing is WIP Go. So I'm hoping WIP Go will help me get done some stuff. But yeah, that's me. I know a lot of people talk about going into 2024 as like a low spend, no spend. I'm going back to work, so I actually have money to spend, so I can't say the same. I'm not a crazy excessive shopper. Like, I have a lot of fabric, I have fabric dye, and I have most of the DMC. And so for me, I just kind of want to get stuff done and keep, you know, kit things up. Like, ideally, I'd like to be having more cross-stitch art up on the wall, and that's my goal, is to finish some projects, get them up on the wall, and start some projects I've been waiting on, like Modern Folk, Teresa Wentzler. I want to start a Mira. I want to start a Bella Filipina. I want to start, there's another big one, a Long Dog. I want to start a Long Dog. So I want to start big projects and have a nice flow of small and medium projects, and that is kind of where I'm at. And yeah, I have no set plans for 2024. I just kind of see what happens and what's released. And my only plan is to make progress. And yeah, this is, like I said, 1 year of Flosstube. As I've mentioned, my biggest things have been the Notion template from Nati, the STITCHERY, and Pattern Keeper. And just being involved in the community. Like, it was hard to put myself out there, and it still kind of is. I still kind of, feel like a little awkward and shy. I'm going to my first retreat, Stitch North, weekend 2 in end of April. That's going to be fairly big for me. I don't often travel by myself like that. It's going to be the first time I'm away from my kids for a significant amount of time. We're going to try sneaking in some overnights before I go, but as of this point, I've never spent a night away from my kids, so that's a lot. Like, we just had our first date night without the kids, like, last week, and we were gone 2 hours. We went out for sushi, and it was still like a, I hope you're okay. I'm going to go away for like 3 nights, 4 nights. I might be in the corner of Stitch North with FaceTime with my kids, like, are they okay? Do they miss me? I miss them. But I also want to live in the moment, and it's one of those things, because, like, I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last year. I'm going back to work 10 days from now, so I'm going to have less time for stitching and less time for Flosstube. And yeah, so I still want to make big changes and try things. It's just that's my little ramble, at the end. How do people do it all? How do they have time for this? How do they have, I guess it's easy if you have either just kids or just a job, not both, because that or a partner whose schedule's more reliable. So I'm just saying this now. I've got a lot going on in my life this year. I'm going to try for every 2-3 weeks as an update, but don't hold me to it, because as you can see, this is Flosstube 15 after a year. So we get what we get. So yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for just being here. And, as Mr. Rogers used to say, thank you for being here, and thank you for being a friend. I'll see you the next time I update. Bye-bye now.